Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good news this morning. For 2 days, the world has waited for a first look at the royal baby boy. And moments ago, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepped out in front of the cameras with their new bundle of joy. Meet baby Sussex.
A DNA test has revealed that Prince Harry isn't Archie's biological dad. Yep, you heard that right. And if that wasn't dramatic enough, King Charles has allegedly taken swift action, removing Meghan Markle's name from the royal lineage altogether.
The aftermath continues for Harry and Meghan, but for King Charles, he found the perfect distraction in Deadpool.
Ryan Reynolds telling the king, welcome to Wrexham.
This revelation has left everyone absolutely stunned. What really went down? Who's the mystery dad? And how will this shake up the future of the monarchy? The questions are endless, and the drama is just getting started. A royal drama unfolding. When Prince Harry announced his relationship with Meghan Markle in late 2016, the press went into overdrive. People wanted to know everything about her acting career.
Meghan's had more than 30 acting roles, including blink and you might miss it moments, like playing a FedEx girl in Horrible Bosses.
Her life in California, her previous marriage, and how she'd fit into royal traditions. Early on, the press chatter alternated between celebration, after all, who doesn't love a real-life fairy tale, and suspicion. Some corners of the British media seemed unsure how to handle the idea of an American actress and a royal prince pairing up. Despite any skepticism, the relationship moved fast. By late 2017, Harry and Meghan were engaged. Many royal watchers saw that televised engagement interview as heartwarming. Meghan glowed while talking about joining the firm, and Harry looked thrilled to introduce his fiancée to the world. The wedding was scheduled for May 2018, and the lead-up was a whirlwind.
Meghan, I give you this ring, as a sign of our marriage. With my body, I honor you. All that I am, I give to you.
And all that I have, I share with you, within the love of God.
Yet rumors were already brewing that not everyone behind palace walls was entirely comfortable with this brand new dynamic. The British tabloids, famous for their relentless appetite, quickly latched onto every detail. They dug into Meghan's family history, reported on her father's absences, posted unflattering paparazzi shots, and stoked online debates about her background. In response, Harry delivered statements condemning the more invasive coverage, making it clear that he wanted the media to back off. For some, this showed genuine devotion. Here was a prince protecting the woman he loved. For others, it signaled a new era of conflict, a clash between a media-savvy couple and the usual royal dance of measured silence. The Fab Four that faded. As Meghan prepared to join the family, many people were excited about a new Fab Four: Prince William, Kate Middleton, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle. Early appearances showed them smiling side by side. Some wondered if this younger generation of royals would bring a modern spirit, championing issues like mental health, women's empowerment, and social justice in a more hands-on, relatable manner. But behind the scenes, tensions built. British tabloids started hinting that William, ever the cautious figure, expressed concerns about the speed of Harry's romance. Some stories suggested William advised Harry to take his time getting to know Meghan before proposing, which Harry allegedly took as a lack of support. Meanwhile, rumors swirled that Meghan and Kate weren't exactly best friends. One widely cited instance, the claim that Meghan made Kate cry, or vice versa, in the days before the wedding, reportedly over bridesmaid dress fittings. The palace never concretely addressed these speculations, leaving observers to guess what was really happening. As time went on, official appearances of the four together began to feel tense. Body language experts on TV dissected every glance. Tabloid headlines turned any casual moment into a supposed sign of a deeper feud. Although William and Harry occasionally stood together for important events, like the unveiling of a statue of their mother, Princess Diana,
Prince William and Prince Harry reunited to unveil a statue of their late mother, Princess Diana. The statue was unveiled as part of a ceremony held at London's Kensington Palace Thursday on what would have been Diana's 60th birthday.
The easy camaraderie once associated with those two princes looked noticeably strained. By the time 2019 closed out, it was clear that these relationships had hit a rough patch, with Meghan finding herself at the center of swirling drama. Megxit. In January 2020, the world stopped for a moment when Harry and Meghan announced via Instagram that they intended to step back from their roles as senior members of the royal family. Instantly, the tabloids labeled this decision Megxit, a dramatic twist on Brexit's name. Here was a respected prince, and sixth in line to the throne, openly saying he'd had enough of the full-time royal lifestyle. The reasons they cited included mental well-being, unfair reactions from outspoken tabloids, and a struggle to find privacy. Harry, who had grown up under a microscope after losing his mother, Princess Diana, felt an urgent need to protect Meghan and their young son, Archie. For Meghan, who had faced a relentless wave of negative stories, this seemed like a chance to reclaim personal freedom. But the bombshell caused seismic waves across the monarchy. Some critics felt Harry and Meghan blindsided Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Charles by making such an announcement before negotiations had concluded. In special sessions at Sandringham, the royals hammered out an arrangement allowing Harry and Meghan to keep their Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles, but lose their HRH, her Royal Highness status in official usage. They would no longer perform engagements on behalf of the Queen or receive public funds. The Oprah interview. A year after Megxit, Meghan and Harry sat down with Oprah Winfrey for a tell-all interview broadcast in March 2021. The lead-up was full of speculation. Would they trash the Queen? Would they reveal hidden secrets about William and Kate? Would the monarchy come off looking uncaring or even cruel? The actual interview did not disappoint the hunger for sensational reveals. Meghan discussed feeling suicidal during her pregnancy with Archie and said she was denied help by palace officials who worried about how it would look. She described the overall environment as chilly and isolating. Most explosively, she and Harry aired that someone within the royal family had expressed concerns about their child's potential skin tone. This revelation ignited a firestorm. People all over the globe demanded to know who said it. Meghan refused to name names, although Harry clarified it wasn't the Queen or Prince Philip. Still, the implication of racism rocked the institution. British tabloids responded with skepticism and outrage, with some accusing Meghan of exaggerating or being vengeful. Others praised her bravery for calling out bias in one of the world's most traditional families. Harry, meanwhile, disclosed he felt trapped in the system, and that Charles had at one point stopped taking his calls. It was a jarring confession that suggested family relations were at rock bottom. The palace offered a simple statement asserting that the issues would be handled privately and that recollections may vary, a phrase that itself became a headline. For many, this told them everything they needed to know about how the institution intended to handle the couple's allegations, by elevating a minimalist approach and letting the public conversation swirl. Harry versus William. Among the most heartbreaking aspects is the apparent rift between Harry and William. Once the brothers seemed like best friends. They often joked around in interviews and worked side by side on mental health campaigns. But with time, that brotherly bond eroded. From stories that William disapproved of the rapid pace of Harry's relationship to deeper issues about how the family should handle the press, everything started to drive a wedge between them. When Harry spoke with Oprah, he admitted that his relationship with William was one of space, implying they were on different paths. Public events where the two brothers met, like Prince Philip's funeral in April 2021, became prime fodder for speculation. Were they speaking? Did they reconcile? Observers clung to any moment that looked like they shared a word or two, searching for signs of hope. But the rift became apparent once more when Harry's memoir, Spare.
For many, fascinated by the lives of British royals, tonight is a pretty good night. All 400 pages of Prince Harry's new book, Spare,
was released in January 2023. Key points in the book included stories of arguments with William, details of how he felt overshadowed, and claims that he was brushed aside in favor of William's higher place in the line of succession. Some readers believed the memoir was honest, shining a light on how the spare in a royal family can feel second class. Others saw it as a betrayal of private family matters, airing personal squabbles for profit. Meghan versus the palace. Meghan's arrival in the royal fold triggered a spotlight not just on personal relationships, but also on the way the palace imposes rules. According to Meghan, getting answered was never straightforward. She said she was told how to act, what to wear, how to address people, and even restricted from speaking openly in certain situations. Tensions grew further when staff members accused Meghan of bullying and creating a stressful work environment in the palace. A leaked Kensington Palace email addressed concerns about Meghan's behavior. The Sussexes called it a smear campaign and pointed out that timing around these stories often coincided with major announcements or interviews they were doing. On top of that, Meghan's approach to philanthropy and public engagements was more American casual, with hugging, active listening, and spontaneous remarks. Critics within the palace found her ways unusual. For her part, Meghan probably felt stifled. In the Oprah interview, she explained that she felt pitched into a system that didn't protect her from the press and left her to struggle with mental health challenges in near secrecy. All of this gave tabloids endless fodder for sensational stories about Duchess Difficult. Some believed these stories were overblown or even motivated by bias. Others believed Meghan did push staff too hard. Regardless of the truth, the friction between Meghan's personality and the monarchy's established habits made headlines day after day. A Netflix docuseries and Spotify podcast. After stepping back from official duties, Meghan and Harry secured high-profile deals with Netflix and Spotify, illustrating a pivot to become financially independent while leveraging their global name recognition. Their Netflix docuseries, Harry and Meghan, premiered in December 2022. It offered a behind-the-scenes look at their courtship, their wedding prep, and their experiences within the royal orbit. The show included personal videos, candid commentary, and emotional recollections of the press battles they fought. Reviews were mixed. Fans treasured the intimacy, praising the couple's honesty. Others argued that the series rehashed old grudges against the royal family, with various moments painted in ways that favored the Sussex narrative. Critics also wondered whether exposing so much of their personal life contradicted the wish for privacy they'd spoken about upon leaving the monarchy. Meghan also launched a Spotify podcast called Archetypes. Her goal was to dissect stereotypes and labels assigned to women, featuring notable guests in varied fields. Again, the public response diverged. Supporters appreciated her tackling female empowerment and identity. Skeptics felt it was a vanity project relying too heavily on references to the same family drama. However one felt, these media ventures revealed a couple determined to speak on their own terms. Rather than letting tabloids define them, they aimed to share their story directly. This decision stretched the tension with the palace even further, as it's long been the monarchy's practice to keep private matters behind closed doors. Coronation tensions and the ever-present spotlight. By the time King Charles III's coronation came around on May 6, 2023, the question on everyone's mind was whether Harry and Meghan would show up. In the end, Meghan stayed in California while Harry attended the ceremony alone. The date happened to coincide with Archie's birthday, which became a convenient explanation for her absence. Yet plenty of theories flew around. Did Meghan want to avoid overshadowing the event? Did the family not welcome her? Was an off-camera standoff going on? At the coronation, Harry was not seated alongside the key senior royals. Instead, he was seen a few rows back, and he didn't linger after the official proceedings. Folks on social media dissected every gesture, concluding that the frost between Harry and the rest of the Windsors was still thick. The palace, as ever, sent no signals of hostility in an official capacity, but no one missed the fact that the visual message was one of distance. Observers also wondered how this new era under King Charles might affect the couple. Charles has expressed public affection for Harry and Meghan in some of his speeches, reinforcing that they remain beloved members of his family. However, behind the pomp, the monarchy keeps chugging along without them in day-to-day routine. William and Kate have stepped up as central figures in the monarchy, while Harry and Meghan carve out a separate life in the United States. What's next for the Sussexes? With each new development, people wonder if Meghan and Harry's storylines will merge back with the royals or continue down a separate track. Since the launch of their Netflix and Spotify deals, the pair have produced limited but high-profile content that keeps them in the spotlight. Harry's memoir, Spare, offered personal insights, but it also risked burning more bridges by disclosing private family moments. They've also formed the Archie Foundation, focusing on charitable ventures. Meghan remains vocal about women's issues, and Harry has continued speaking about mental health and veterans initiatives through the Invictus Games. Despite living in California, they still maintain a certain tie to the monarchy, even if it's in name only. Archie and Lilibet, their 2 kids, are recognized as royals, though they aren't exactly growing up around the rest of the family. Though the monarchy has survived countless storms, the question is how this family friction will shape the future. Charles might or might not invite the Sussexes to future state events. William, as a future king, might keep a tight boundary if he feels that too many personal moments have been commercialized by his brother. Meanwhile, Harry could keep forging his own brand in tandem with Meghan, or perhaps they might choose to step away from media altogether. Every path leads to new speculation. Could a reconciliation happen? Though the coverage is full of gloom, some royal watchers hold on to the hope that time can heal old wounds. For instance, there's a belief that if Charles ever reached out in a personal, empathetic way, or if William and Harry had real one-on-one conversations free of aides and cameras, they might find common ground. Borders might thaw, especially if Harry and Meghan show they can keep private matters private. That said, trust is a major issue. The monarchy likely worries that any meeting might wind up featured in a streaming special or an interview if things go south. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan may feel that the palace machine only defends those at the top. Without mutual trust, bridging this gap remains difficult. There's also the simple matter of daily logistics. Harry and Meghan live in the United States, raising their kids away from the palaces where William and Kate stay busy with official duties. The physical distance alone means fewer opportunities for spur-of-the-moment chats that could repair relationships. Regardless of what happens, the global appetite for every detail won't vanish anytime soon. The press, the fans, and the critics remain on the edges of their seats, waiting to see how this modern royal drama continues. Perhaps the next official gathering or personal project will spark fresh headlines. Maybe the family will surprise the world by setting aside their differences. And in the end, that's why the world is still watching. The monarchy may be steeped in old customs, but it's now locked in a dance with 24/7's media, global social platforms, and personal brands grown through streaming giants. Meghan and Harry are at the center of this strange and riveting collision. Until a lasting peace is found, if it ever is, this sensational drama continues to grip everyone who can't resist peeking behind the palace gates. You might think first ladies and other wives of politicians live life like a bed of roses with minimal political responsibilities compared to their husbands, but you won't believe how strict certain rules they have to live by are. From being obligated to respect a Christmas tradition and being sidelined in government decisions to feeling oppressed by a very patriarchal government, here are some of the strict rules wives of famous politicians have to follow. Melania Trump. In recent months, Melania Trump, the United States First Lady, has trended for a strict rule. She was caught on tape in 2018 venting about how unfair it was that she was getting criticized for her husband's policy of separating families at the US-Mexico border.
The First Lady is heard speaking about the controversial policy of separating children from their parents after crossing the US-Mexico border.
At the same time, she was expected to perform First Lady traditions like get ready for Christmas. Melania was frustrated that people were attacking her for something she didn't have control over. She felt like she was being held responsible for her husband's decisions, which wasn't fair. This recording was made by Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, a former friend and advisor to Melania. Melania was upset that while she had other major duties regarding immigration, she was instructed to prioritize Christmas decorations at the White House. Then, after she did it, the masses complained she was working on Christmas and neglected attending to children who were separated from their parents as a result of their illegal immigration. Melania's team was not happy about the recording being released. Her chief of staff, Stephanie Grisham, called out Wolkoff for secretly taping Melania and breaking a confidentiality agreement to write a book. Grisham thought Wolkoff was just trying to get attention and make money off the recording.
And then I do it, and I say that I'm working on Christmas, planning for the Christmas, and they said, oh, what about the children, that they were separated? Give me a break.
She also questioned the timing of the release and accused Wolkoff of being self-pitying and narcissistic. The recording sparked a lot of debate, with some people defending Melania and others criticizing her for not speaking out more against her husband's policies. Was Melania's rant justified? If you think the Christmas decoration rule is unnecessarily strict, wait until you hear what other wives of famous politicians have had to go through. Ri Sol-ju, North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, is known for his strict and unusual rules, and his wife, Ri Sol-ju, is no exception. When Ri Sol-ju first appeared alongside Kim Jong-un in 2012, people began to speculate about her identity, and it was eventually confirmed that she was his wife. But what's really shocking is the strict rules she has to follow. For starters, she was reportedly forced to marry Kim Jong-un, and she had to give up her birth name and adopt a new one. Her entire past was also kept hidden, and even her real name and year of birth are still a mystery. Ri Sol-ju's life is highly controlled, and she's not allowed to make many choices for herself. She can't choose her own hairstyle or dress code, and she's not allowed to leave North Korea. When she started having the president's kids, she was expected to keep bearing children until she gave birth to a son. These rules are just the tip of the iceberg, and Ri Sol-ju's life is still heavily scrutinized and controlled by Kim Jong-un and the North Korean government. Even with her limited freedom, Ri Sol-ju has been spotted accompanying Kim Jong-un on official visits and has even been given the title of Respected First Lady, Kim Keon-hee. When Yoon Suk-yeol was running for president, he promised to get rid of the unofficial support system for the president's spouse. This was part of his plan to overhaul the presidential office and tackle issues that came up during the campaign. Yoon's wife, Kim Keon-hee, is a businesswoman who runs an art event company. She faced a lot of criticism and scrutiny from the media and politicians about her personal life and work. There were even claims that she had falsified her academic credentials and plagiarized her PhD thesis, which led to her issuing a public apology.
Kim Gun-hee, wife of People Power Party presidential candidate Yoon Suk-yeol, made a public apology for fabricating her resume.
At first, Kim kept a low profile and supported Yoon from behind the scenes. But after Yoon became president, Kim's public profile skyrocketed, and she found herself at the center of new controversies. For instance, when Kim paid her respects to the late former president Roh Moo-hyun and met his widow, she wore an outfit that sparked a lot of debate. Supporters of Roh and opposition parties weren't happy with Kim's fashion choice, and some even criticized her for bringing her former art company team along. But no one can deny the fact that she stood her ground. Some wives of politicians are real firecrackers, refusing to be tied down by traditional expectations, while others, like Miriam Gonzalez, wife of Liberal Democrat leader Nick Clegg, take a more relaxed approach, and you're about to see how. Miriam Gonzalez Durantes. Miriam is a great example of a modern political spouse. She's confident, has her own career as head of a trade department at a global law firm, and isn't afraid to speak her mind. Despite being a strong, independent woman, Miriam still looks the part of a traditional politician's wife, always stylishly dressed and impeccably groomed. She and her husband Nick share household responsibilities and support each other's careers, making them a great example of a modern, equal partnership. Not all wives of politicians are as outspoken as Miriam, though. Some, like Norma Major, prefer to keep a low profile and avoid controversy, even when faced with difficult situations like their husband's infidelity. Others, like Sandra Howard, may wait until their husband's political career is over before pursuing their own interests. These women often feel pressure to put their husband's career first and avoid doing anything that might overshadow his achievements. As Sandra Howard recalls being told, a political spouse can't win their husband's seat, but they can definitely lose it. Even with these challenges, many wives of politicians are finding ways to forge their own paths and make a positive impact, whether through their careers, charitable work, or simply by being a supportive partner. Peng Liyuan. Peng Liyuan is the wife of China's President Xi Jinping, but she's an extraordinary person. Born on November 20th, 1962, in Yan'an County, Shandong Province, China, Peng started singing at a very young age. She was only 4 or 5 years old when she began singing opera songs, inspired by her mother's successful career. As she grew older, Peng continued to pursue her passion for music. Throughout the 1980s, Peng Liwan continued to pursue her passion for music, joining a performing group and winning numerous awards, including a gold medal at a national singing competition. At this point in her life, Peng Liwan was free to do as she pleased, performing wherever she wanted without anyone telling her what to do. But in 1987, she married Xi Jinping, who was then a government official in a small city. Although Peng Liwan's marriage to Xi Jinping might have seemed like it could change her life, it didn't slow her down at first. She continued to pursue her education, earning a master's degree in music from the China Conservatory of Music in 1990.
Peng Liwan has come a long way from her days as an 80s folk singer, but whilst some may have raised eyebrows when this video first emerged, it's worth remembering she holds a master's degree in music and is, believe it or not, a major general in the People's Liberation Army.
This made her the first person in China to earn a master's degree in folk singing. But when Xi Jinping became the leader of the Chinese Communist Party in 2012, Peng Liwan's role changed, and she became more involved in politics and cultural affairs. As the First Lady of China, Peng Liwan had to start traveling the world with President Xi Jinping, sharing Chinese culture and building strong relationships with other countries. Martha Washington. The role of the First Lady in America has undergone a lot of changes over the years. Historically, the president's spouse was expected to be the perfect hostess, handling domestic affairs with ease. Martha Washington, for instance, was highly respected and affectionately called Lady Washington. This trend continued with Abigail Adams and Dolly Madison, who were also referred to as Lady due to their esteemed positions. But the term Lady was somewhat controversial, as it sounded too British and royal, which didn't align with America's values of independence. Many First Ladies, including Jackie Kennedy, weren't fond of the title, with Kennedy joking that it sounded like a racehorse's name. As time passed, the role of the First Lady evolved, and they began to take on more responsibilities and initiatives. Edith Roosevelt was the first to hire a federally funded social secretary, while Lou Hoover expanded her staff. Eleanor Roosevelt had a personal secretary, social secretary, and administrative secretary, and Jackie Kennedy hired the first press secretary. Later, First Ladies, such as Rosalind Carter, had a chief of staff to handle projects and initiatives. These women became powerhouses, leading the charge on various issues, including environmentalism, women's rights, education, and healthcare. From Mary Todd Lincoln's advocacy for education and jobs for freed slaves to Michelle Obama's efforts to combat childhood obesity, each First Lady has left their mark. Their style and fashion sense have also been iconic, with Frances Cleveland's wedding hairstyle and Nancy Reagan's signature red style being unforgettable. This list gets more interesting with the rules Michelle Obama had to follow when she was a First Lady. Michelle Obama. Everyone knows Michelle Obama stands out as one of the most remarkable First Ladies in American history. When her husband Barack Obama decided to run for president in 2008,
Senator Barack Obama is, as of this hour, the presumptive Democratic nominee for President of the United States. As the polls close in South Dakota, NBC News projecting Obama has cleared the plateau.
Michelle had some serious concerns about how it would affect their daughters. She made it clear that she wouldn't support him unless he quit smoking, showing that she wasn't afraid to speak her mind and set boundaries. Michelle also made it clear that she wouldn't be a senior advisor, instead focusing on discussing issues like race and education from a mom's perspective. This was a refreshing change from the traditional role of a First Lady, and some people might have even seen it as rebellious. But Michelle's hesitation soon turned into unconditional support for her husband's campaign. As the campaign got heated, Michelle scaled back her work by 80% to focus on supporting Barack. She started out campaigning just 2 days a week, but by early 2008, she was going all in, attending 33 events in just 8 days. Michelle even shared the stage with Oprah Winfrey at several campaign events, writing her own speeches and delivering them with confidence. Despite facing some unfair criticism and being labeled an angry black woman by some, Michelle kept her cool, and remained focused on supporting her husband. Drop your thoughts in the comment section.